Okay, guys, all you can see my screen, right?
Yep.
Thank you. So we will get started. So today, what we are talking on this call, we'll understand the concepts of CRM. CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management. So the whole business around the world, all money game, everything is relating to categories wherein there is a seller and there is a buyer. The seller is a person who is selling his products to the buyer, and there are two kinds of business that is usually happening based on the type of buyer we have. The buyer can be a company, a buyer can be individual. Seller does not matter, it can be a company, it can be individual also. So seller, when the buyer is a company, we call this a B2B business. That is business to business. That means company is selling to another company. Usually the seller would be a company because a lot of product needs to be created, and so individual person as a seller is very difficult job. So it would be always a business who is basically selling that to a different company, or a business is a company selling to an individual. When a company selling to an individual, it is called B2C, that is business to customer. Okay, so B2B, that means a company selling to another company. B2C means a company selling to an individual. Is all depends on the types of buyers we have in picture. That's clear? Any questions so far? I think quite easy to understand. So Salesforce provides us the opportunity to manage customers when this selling is happening. So who will buy Salesforce? The seller will buy. Who needs to manage a customer? The seller needs to manage the customer, or the buyer needs to manage the customer?
Yeah.
Seller, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. The seller, buyers is a customer to seller. So seller needs to buy Salesforce, isn't it? And Salesforce will be used by people. And Salesforce will be an application that will be helping the seller to manage the customers. Now, who is basically in the seller side using Salesforce? Salesforce in the seller side, there can be many different people. Maybe the selling people, sales agents, service agents, managers, CEO, admins, many people will be using Salesforce. What to do to store the customer information? Why do we need to store customer information? What is the benefit of storing the customer information? Any answers?
Yeah, to interact with the customer later, or what are their choices, what are their preferences, to know about the customers.
Yes, absolutely. So what we need to understand is that who is this customer? First, knowing our customer, why that will help. Probably I will need to resell, right, to this customer some other products. Probably a customer is unhappy with my product. He's cursing me. He's coming back and saying your product sucks. But I don't even know what did he purchase. And so how will I provide service to this person if I do not even know what he purchased, when, at what date did he purchase, does he have warranty or not? So providing better experience to my customers and increasing my sales, those are the most important two crucial benefits of a CRM application. So higher sales, higher conversions, and better customer relationships can help me manage my customer, can bring loyalty, can bring upsells for my business. So having a CRM system is very, very important for a seller so that he can do it all together. So in the seller side, the people who are logging into Salesforce or using Salesforce, because Salesforce is a cloud application. Cloud means a application which runs on a browser. And there are other definitions which we'll cover later. This is for Orithro. Why cloud? Why not a software which is not installed in your machine, which is not locally running? That is a cloud software. That means I do not need to install anything on my machine. All the data is stored in internet. That means in servers that is hosted by another company, that is Salesforce. Similarly, Microsoft has its own servers. Google has its own servers. Like we log into Gmail. Gmail is a cloud product. Google Drive, it's a cloud product.
Yes.
Do we install anything on my machine? No. If my hard disk crashes, does it matter? No. So cloud applications make it easier for me to save my data. I don't need to keep my own hardware. So I can concentrate on my business. So that is why the cloud products are getting more and more popular. People are selling or are just purchasing subscriptions of cloud products. Just like you see Netflix, right? You get into Netflix, you purchase a subscription of Netflix, you watch that film, and you can keep in 4 and 5 months of Netflix subscription. Then you said, no, I am not seeing Netflix any much. I will stop it. And after 1 year, you can again restart your subscription. Similarly, in Salesforce also, based on how many users you are logging in, you're purchasing that more like that licenses from Salesforce. All these people who need to share the data among each other is basically an org or organization. In Salesforce term, we are saying that as an org. So a seller, every seller company will have a separate org from Salesforce, so that all the data that is lying for this seller is now shared across all the users of this org. That means this is a separate instance. Just like you have Gmail account, right? When you log into Gmail, does it take you to somebody else's inbox? It never will do that, right? It will always take it to your own inbox. So why, how Salesforce, but everybody is logging with gmail.com. So how it is matching? It is looking at your login user and it is taking to your inbox. So one inbox is mapped to your login ID and that login is taking you to the inbox. Similarly, different users are all mapped to org. So all these people are mapping to org1, org1. Similarly, user 4, user 5, user 6 will be mapping to org2. Org2 is a different seller. So seller 1 data and seller 2 data is completely isolated. The users of org a one seller will never see the data of another seller.
Yes.
Okay, but everybody is using salesforce.com. So it is mapped on the org. Yeah, any questions so far?
Yeah, I just want to know that you are telling that we need to do any kind of installing, just like that. We are just using the browser and we just use Salesforce, right?
Right.
So, but my question is the data as per my knowledge, the data should be stored in somewhere. Right, it's not that the cloud means, yeah, we understand the cloud, but the data should be stored, right?
Yes, data is getting stored in Salesforce. And where are we storing that? We are coming to that very soon.
Okay.
Right now, we need to understand that the data, wherever is data is getting stored, maybe just like in inbox, you are storing mails, right? Simple. So here, all these users, there can be separate set of users. So every org means a separate seller. If org1 is a separate seller, org2 is a separate seller. So all these users, user 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, everybody is logging into salesforce.com, but based on which login he has, we will be mapping them to one org, and that org will be the seller. Any questions so far? So it's quite similar to renting a house. If you are in a flat, in a flat, there can be multiple apartments, right? In that whole building, there can be multiple flat numbers, right? So everybody has the same address, but their room number is different. Maybe the floor number is different, right?
Yes.
So all of them are sharing maybe the same water tank, maybe the same sewage link, maybe the same park. So they're sharing. This whole model is based on sharing. So subscription model is basically quite similar to renting. So in which there is an infrastructure which has been it is available for rent for people. So you do not need to create your own server machines. You don't have to set up. You don't have to take care of hacking attacks and so on. Everything has been taken care of by that flat owner makers, right? That has been taken care. Now they are just selling you space or renting you space, and you are just purchasing, and you are giving them rent till the period you are using it. You want to decide to get out, you just stop paying them. Simple. Okay. So org will be the seller's instance of Salesforce, and different users, user 1, user 2, user 3, are basically the users of this org. They will be logging into this org. Here. Now, every one of us are quite like we know about Excel sheets, right? Everybody has worked with Excel sometimes or other, right? When you open the Excel, you see there are separate sheets, sheet 1, 2, 3, 4. You can create more sheets also, right? Every sheet is a table, isn't it? And that stores data. Similar to that, Salesforce also has tables to store data. Those tables are called objects. Okay. So this buyer information would be stored in some tables, right? So there is a table called account, which is a default table Salesforce has given us. And they have said, store your buyer's information in your accounts. What does it mean, buyer information? So accounts is a place wherein we can store the company information. Okay. And there will be people who are working in this company, right? There is another table called contact, which wherein you will store the people who are working in this company, this account. So two tables, we are storing our buyer information. That means the company on which they are working, and that all the people with whom I am talking to will be stored in contacts. So contact is storing individuals, account is storing companies. Clear? So all the people who are working in this company are getting stored in contacts. The companies are stored in accounts. Org is the instance of the seller. All the employees of this org are users. And users is also another table in Salesforce. So we have talked about three tables here: the account table, the contact table, and the user table. Any confusion till now?
No.
Okay, good. So let's get a little deeper. This is the account table. This is the contact table. হ্যাঁ বলুন। Apologies for the call interruption. Okay, so we have account table and the contact table. So account is the company, that means my customer company to whom I am selling. And most of the time we'll be talking about B2B business here. Okay. B2C business is a little different. We'll talk about that later. This is the company and this is the individuals who are working in this company, maybe the employees of this company. So what is the relationship between account and contact? Is this one-to-one, one-to-many, or many-to-many? How can we define these relationships? If one account is related to multiple contacts, then we'll say one-to-many relationship. If one account can only have one contact, then it would be a one-to-one relationship. If one account can have multiple contacts and one contact can be associated with multiple accounts, then it will be many-to-many relationship. Okay, so either we show many-to-many relationship like this, 1:n. N means many. So one account can have multiple contacts. Can one contact be associated to multiple accounts?
No.
Not possible, right?
Yes.
So this is not possible. This way is not possible. So what will happen? It is a one-to-many relationship. That means one account can have multiple contacts. Okay. So there is a relationship between these tables. How these relationships are made? Well, gradually we see this in details. But there is a relationship. Account and contact has a relationship. That means account is a company. Company has multiple employees. That means one-to-many relationship. One company can have multiple employees.
Animesh, one question. Can one contact be associated with multiple contact? Maybe not an employee, it's an agent which is interfacing that particular account or company for the seller. So in that case, may a single contact person who is interfacing different companies for me, I mean, I am a seller. So is it possible?
When you are a seller, your information is stored in which table?
When I no,
sorry, come again.
I mean, when I mean, for me,
you are saying that you are a salesman, right?
No, I'm a company. I am having Salesforce installed in my company, and I am managing the multiple accounts.
You are managing multiple accounts. That means you
Right.
have multiple customers.
Right.
Okay.
Now, for multiple customer, can we have single contact person? I mean, a contact which is associated with multiple account.
Again, I think you are getting confused. Let me show you the map once again.
Okay.
This is the buyer's, this is the seller side, and this is the buyer side. Account and contact objects are information of your buyers.
Yeah, I am talking about that part only.
How can a person be an employee of two different companies?
Yeah, that is what I told you initially, that it may not be an employee of that particular company.
Then you don't store in that in contact. Then you are storing a wrong person in wrong table.
Okay.
Right.
Is it possible? I'm just talking about from practical experience.
See, the requirement is wrong. You have to first say, who is this person? Is he your buyer, or who is he? What kind of a person information is that?
He's a contact person for the account.
Contact person for the account means what? He's a core employee, or he's a customer?
Only these two are possible, right?
There can be anything possible. I am asking you the questions.
I'm telling not a employee, not I'm talking about, say, for example, a contact person for different companies, same contact person for different companies.
So there can be different. You have to bifurcate your individuals between these lines. So there is a middle line. Okay. This is the seller side,
Mhm.
This is the buyer side.
Hmm.
Which side does he belong to?
Buyer side.
If he belongs to buyer side and you have a person who is associated to multiple accounts,
Hmm.
possibly somehow it is related. There can be some exceptions that is happening. We can
Mhm.
discuss how that exception comes into picture. Right now, let's keep it vanilla. Let's say employees of a company are exclusive to that company, and let's understand the basics first, and then we'll go into this complicated situation.
Understood. Okay, fine.
I don't want to deal with these situations. Everything is possible. Your questions I understood, but I'm challenging you just because I don't want everybody to get confused on the very first day. There can be huge relationships possible because account and contact, but this is generally the basic and vanilla relationship between account and contact.
I understood. Fine.
Okay. There can be complications and there can be exceptions that can be handled in Salesforce, but for that we need advanced classes. Okay, we will not cover this in our this set of classes.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so account and contacts are basically one to many relationship. That means employees and these are companies. So I am talking to these people, right? I am not talking to any account. When is my salespeople will go and do a deal, they will do a deal with this person, right? One of the person, or maybe multiple people. Maybe 3 contacts are involved in the deal, isn't it? Let's take a situation. I am a seller. What is my company name? Reebok. Whom I am selling my products? Maybe to a company called Government of India, or maybe let's have Tata Steel. What is Reebok selling to Tata Steel? Reebok is selling shoes and caps for a marathon organized by Tata Steel. Possible? That's a
Yes.
deal, right? So Reeboks will be selling 100 shoes and 200 caps to Tata Steel. That is the whole deal. So Reebok is the buyer, and the salesman who is doing this deal is his name is Animesh Banerjee, who is the sales representative of Reebok. Who am I talking to? I am talking to Shobhanjit Ghosh, who is the marathon organizer from Tata Steel. I am talking to Shobhan, right? For getting this deal done. Isn't it? So in Salesforce, where I will store Tata Steel?
Account.
Buyers.
Account. I will store Tata Steel. I will create one account, that is one account record, and I will say what is a record. We'll come to that. I will create one data in my account table or one row in my table that will call Tata Steel. That is my customer name, the customer company name. But whom am I talking to? I am talking to Shobhanjit Ghosh. Shobhanjit will be stored where? Which table?
Contact.
Contact, absolutely. And contact has to have association with account. I said that relationship exists. We'll get into that later. But in contact table, there would be a row called Shobhanjit Ghosh. Clear? On the user table, there is a row called Animesh Banerjee. 3 tables clear? Guys, any confusion?
Yeah.
Good.
What is the user table?
So we have talked about account. We have talked about contact. Account and contact has one to many relationship. Now we'll talk about another object which is called deal, where we will store the deal, right? That object is called opportunity. What is the relationship between account and opportunity? One to many to many, one to one. Give a try.
One to many.
Which side is one?
Account side is one, opportunity is many.
Anybody saying anything else? Yes, one to many. Why? I can have multiple deals with this person, right? With this company. Reebok might be selling, might have a deal for January marathon. People can have a deal for February marathon. People can have a deal for March marathon. Separate deals, right? Separate orders. So deals or orders, right? That can happen. So multiple. So I am selling again and again and making different deals with the same company. Each time I sell, that is a separate deal is or a separate order, and that is stored in opportunity. Clear, guys, so far?
I just want to know the user section where you said Animesh is in the user section.
Yeah, I am the user, right? I am the seller side.
Yeah.
I am using the application. My information must also be stored in Salesforce, right? Somewhere.
Yeah.
So I am stored in a table called user. So now these are all standard tables. That means Salesforce comes out of box. These tables comes out of box. They are default there. You don't have to create this table. You cannot delete these tables. So these are already there. When you purchase Salesforce, these tables also come inside it. Clear? So we talked about 4 tables now: user, account, contact, and opportunity now, isn't it? Now let's talk about another important object or table. There is a table called product. Product will store what? Product table?
Shoes and caps.
Shoes and caps. Correct. Great, fantastic. Now, what I have the deal table, which is called opportunity. What is the relationship between product and opportunity?
Hello, it can be many to many.
That's fine. Please explain how many to many.
Because there should have multiple products and you have multiple deals, so it can be many to many
No,
relationship.
multiple products. If there are multiple products and
Yeah.
multiple deals, that does not mean it is a many to many relationship. Many to many
No.
relationship
Just
means
like that, the one product, you can deal with one product, you can deal with many products. Okay, so you can. It's like it's one to many, or many to many, or many to one. It can be anything, right?
a little
Am I
more
right?
explanation required.
Just like that, if you only buy shoes, so you can deal with shoes for just like in December, so you can again deal on January for the same shoes, and you can also make a deal with along not only for shoes, along with that you can deal with also with caps. So if we deal with caps, so there should multiple products, right? So and you are doing multiple deals, right? So you can only do the one deal, and other else you can do multiple deals. So it can be one to many, or it can be one to one, it can be many to many, or many to one. Am I right?
It can be many to one.
Yeah, many to one. Yeah.
Yeah. So what is the definition of many to many relationship? Many to many relationship means the two objects have one to many relationship from both sides. So let's check that it is a one to many relationship from both sides or not. Okay. Otherwise, just because we have many different combination, we are saying many to many. No, it should be like this. Then only we will say it is a many to many relationship. Let's see that. So I have two deals, January and February. and I have two products, shoes and caps. Can shoes be associated to January? I can sell shoes in January. I can sell shoes in February also, right? So one to many. হ্যাঁ বলো। আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে। ঠিক আছে। Okay. So one product. So product to opportunity is one to many relationship, right? One product can be part of multiple deals. Now let's take the opposite side. One deal can be associated to multiple products also. I can sell multiple things in the same deal, right? I can sell shoes and caps together in January. I can sell in February also. I can have multiple products, right? So it is one to many from both sides. That means it is called many to many relationship. It is written like this. Clear? Any confusion?
No, but one thing that is, it can be many to one, right?
Many to one, many to one,
Or
many
one
to many
many.
relationship already means many to one.
Okay.
So many to many means there can be one to many relationship from both sides. Okay, that is it. Many to one means that one to many from the other side, right? So simple. Now let's talk about another object. Same product, and I have this time menu card. So when you are selling, you will have a menu card, right? You go to a restaurant, somebody hands over a menu card to you, right? Can I have multiple menu cards? Can a
No.
seller have multiple
No.
menu cards?
No.
No.
That means if I have Burger King, or I am KFC, I have a center in Barashat and I have a center in Madhumgram, I will always have the same menu card. I cannot have multiple menu cards.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes,
How is it?
because of you have multiple chains, but every chains you have same menu card.
No guarantee.
Yeah, I can change the menus.
You can change the menu, but basically basic rule is that as I know that you should have same menu card, but you
No.
can change it.
In Bangalore, if I have a KFC, that cost is quite different to what they sell in Kolkata.
It depends on the location, maybe.
Yes. If you have a KFC shop in Pakistan, they will show the price in Pakistan currency. How can you do it all together in one menu card? Possible. So it can vary based on which location you are. The menu can be like different currencies, because different currency you can have multiple menu cards. Maybe there can be different prices in the same country, wherein there can be different reasons why you are creating different menu cards. Most of the time it will be different countries, because that will be in different currencies, right? So you cannot use the Australian menu card for US, right? So think about every country to be a separate menu card. So Reebok prices for India and Reebok prices for USA will not be the same. One will be in dollars, one would be in INR. Okay. So menu card will also be multiple. So now again, let's see these shoes, and let's give two menu cards this time. USA menu card, and marathon can happen in USA also, marathon can happen in India also, right? The same Tata Steel can have office in USA, same Tata Steel can have office in India. So I have two menu cards, USA menu card and India menu card, and I have shoes and caps. What is the relationship between the product and menu card? One to one, one to many, one to many.
I think it can be many to many. Sorry, are you asking for just like one product for USA and India separately, or the whole table?
Think
Hello?
about menu card. You go to a restaurant, right?
Okay.
In Burger King, or you go to Burger
Okay,
King.
just I have to think that US and India in the same menu card. So we are considering
No,
this.
it is not same menu card, different menu cards.
Okay, different menu cards, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you are selling the same shoe, right? You are selling the same cap.
Yeah, because depends on the currency and location.
Yeah.
So they
I
are
have two different menu cards. So what is the
Yeah.
relationship between menu card and product?
I think it will be many to many, as per my understanding.
So one shoe can be in USA, that shoe can be in India also. So one too many from this side. Let's see Ulta. In the US menu card, it will have shoes and caps also, right? So it is a reverse also true, right? So it's a many-to-many relationship. You are right.
Yeah, but in USA, the prices are different, and in India,
Doesn't
prices
matter.
and the
Price
products
we
will
are
be
not
different.
price we are not talking here. This menu card consists of shoes and caps. Indian menu card also has shoes and caps,
Okay.
right? Why do we care the price is there or not? Price obviously will be there. But I am talking about relationships here.
Yeah.
So one menu card is associated to multiple products, and one product is associated to multiple menu cards. That means one to many from both sides. That means it is a many-to-many relationship. In Salesforce, we store menu cards in a table called price book. Okay, now a little more complicated stuff. So we saw many-to-many relationship between product and two objects. One we saw with price book. One we saw with deals or opportunity, right? Same. It is many-to-many relationship. Now, Salesforce does not allow a direct relationship between two objects when there is a many-to-many relationship. You have to go via a new object, third object. Okay. And that object would be a one-to-many relationship from both sides. So it would be one-to-many, one-to-many. Then only this object is called mapping object. This object type is mapping object, and it is named with the names of these objects. So this mapping object between product and opportunity is called opportunity product.
Sorry, Animesh, can you please come again once more?
I will. This is a little complicated, I know, and I have to repeat it two or three times in order to make sense. Let me show it once again. This is product table. This is price book table. When there is a many-to-many relationship between these two objects, there is directly in Salesforce, this is not possible. So you have to bring another object here, and it would be one-to-many from both sides. Account and contact was what? One-to-many, right? So when there is a one-to-many relationship between two objects or two tables, objects and tables are the same. In Salesforce, tables are called objects. Okay. So when account and contact, in account and contact, account is the one side and many is the contact, right? Many side is the contact. So we call the side 1 as parent, and a side which is n is called child. So here product is the parent, and this table is called child. So one to many is product and child. So this is the child, like in account and contact. Contact is the child of account. Similarly, for many to many relationship, there is a single child from both parents, two parents. This is parent and this is also child. This child is the mapping table, which is basically associating the products. You see, shoe, USA, cap, USA, shoe, India, cap, India. If I store these 4 values here, that creates a man-to-man relationship. We'll see in details later. But a very important information is missing out. So when in product and price book is menu card, right? In menu card, we have USA menu card, we have India menu card, product we have shoe, product we have cap. Now tell me, where will I mention the price? In this table, or this table?
I think price book.
If I mention $100 for $100, that $100 is for which product and for which country?
Okay, I understand that product is connected to the child mapping object, and that is connected to
In
price.
yeah, in price book, product is not there at all. So no way you can select the product.
Directly connect. So I connected through the child object, right?
Yes. So if I create a field here in this table, if there is a column called price, the problem is that I do not know this price is, if I say the USA price is 100 and I say India price is 200, I can mention that. But this price is for which product? I don't know. 200 is for which product? I don't know, right? So mentioning the price on the menu card on the header, if I on the menu card, can I write the price on the top of the menu card? I cannot, right?
Yeah.
If I write the price on the top of the menu card, I don't know this price is for which product, isn't it? So you have to mention the price individually for each product, just beside the product, right? Isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
So should I mention the price here then in the product table?
No, I think in the child,
Yeah, why child? Why
because
not in the product here?
because
why can't
Only the product.
create a price table here, price here on the product itself? If I say my shoe price is 100, then I don't know.
it doesn't show that it is from USA or it is from India.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. So this is the mapping child. Here it is most crucial important is price. So I can say that shoe in USA is $100, cap in USA is $200, shoe in India is 100 rupees, cap in India is 200 rupees. Clear, guys? Now just replace the same situation with deal. Instead of, so this child table between product and price book is called what? What would be the name of the table? It's called price book entry. It should be called price book product, right? But anyway, Salesforce has said that we'll call it price book entry. Okay, so that's the only difference. Now let's talk about opportunity object. If I make this opportunity, so I have a January deal, I have a February deal. So this mapping object will do what? Shoe, January, cap, January, shoe, February, cap, February. If I have 4 rows in this table, I have made a one-to-many relationship, isn't it? But a crucial information is missing in my deals. What crucial information? Think about when you go to Flipkart and do a order. What crucial important you select the product, right? But a crucial information is missing in this deal.
Gender.
Gender. Not really. Maybe it's a unisex shoe and a unisex cap. Let's not mix gender here. I am saying that in that deal which we are doing already, please remember, I said that I am selling 100 shoes and 200 caps.
Maybe the size.
No, quantity.
Quantity. Yeah.
Quantity.
100 shoes, 100 caps. Where I am mentioning the quantity? Where will I mention the quantity? Should I mention the quantity in product? Should I mention the quantity in the deal? Or should I mention this here?
The child object.
Child object, right? Quite similar.
Yes.
So here I can say 100. Here I can say 200. In February, I say make it 300, make it 400. Which product, which deal, what is the amount? Clearly understandable. So this object is called opportunity product, right? Named after the parents, 2 parents. Just like price book entry, opportunity product is also child of 2 parents. Product is common. So product is like a man with multiple wives, right? One of the wife is opportunity, another wife is probably price book entry, a price book. Okay, that's fine. So let's talk about the standard objects and custom objects. So Salesforce by default gives some tables which we call standard objects. What are standard objects we talked today? Account, please remember them all. Contact, opportunity, product, user, price book, and the 2 childs, opportunity product and price book entry. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 objects we discussed today. Clear? Standard objects, and there can be many more, but these are the most crucial objects for Salesforce. Let's talk about the whole cycle. Once again, there is one critical object required for the sales cycle. We are talking about sales cycle here, the sales process here. So when a person, a sales agent gets up to work and start his working, will he directly start by logging into the system, the customer information? How he starts his day? He gets to office. What do you think he does? A salesman? Think about a salesman. How he does his business? How does he work? Put yourself in a salesman's shoes. How will you start your day?
Logging into my account.
Huh? Sorry.
I'll log into my account first.
Log into your account. Okay, that's fine. Then
See what are the preferences of my customers. What are the orders?
no. When the orders are already done, your sales is already done. Then you have no job.
Okay.
You want to sell to people, right?
Yeah.
So how will you sell to people? You want to do a new deal with any customer. So how will you do that?
If any customer requests, so first you have to look on that, right?
If any customer, sorry.
requests
The
for
customer will come to you or you will go to the customer.
Okay, sorry, I will go to the customer.
Okay.
So
Sorry.
how will you go to the customer?
So I will advertise something so the customer will attract for that.
Advertisement is a different deal. Then if you are
Okay.
advertising, that is called marketing.
Okay.
That's not a sales process.
Okay.
Okay, that is a marketing. That is a campaign you are doing. The people are walking in. So all the people who walk in a campaign, everybody purchases your products.
No, not like that.
So so what happens? Let's think about that also. Let's talk about the campaign thing also. So I am doing like Reebok is doing a campaign, right? Maybe in city center. Then how will that work? There might be interest people who will say, what are you selling, right? What are the prices of that products? They will see.
Yes.
Some people will be interested, some people will not, right?
Will not. Yeah.
But you will have a sheet to fill and you will say that we are doing a survey, right?
Okay.
Which people came into our campaigns. You will log their names, contact numbers.
Yes. Yes. You will have to go to the each customer.
You will talk to every person who is there in that. They may or may not be interested in your product, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But you are still registering their names and noting down the names, right?
Yes.
Why?
I think by doing this, maybe not all the customer, but some customer may be attracted.
True. So I will write
We
down the
can-
names of only the people who are attracted. Why should I write down the name of the people who are not attracted?
Okay, no, not like that. They will send some offers, every seasonal offers to their
Yes.
registered number, and any kind of deals they are doing, any kind of just like that Diwali dhamaka, just festivals offers. So they will share to their registered number. So after seeing the customer,
What is
they
this
can-
called? What are
these
you
are
trying to do?
called offers.
What are you trying to do?
It can maybe I don't know the right keyword, but maybe
I am not looking for a keyword. I am saying that what are you trying to do?
yeah,
You are trying
we are
to,
offering multiple.
that's fine. That is
yeah.
fine. You are doing a promotion. That is fine.
Yes, yes.
I am not saying that what work you are doing. I am saying what is your goal? What are you trying to do?
I have to promote. I have to promote.
Promote that word. For what is the result? What is the result for that promotion?
The customers will visit our site or our products.
Yeah,
You are trying to sell to that customer, right?
yeah.
Maybe
Yes.
that person is not interested on that day when you did the promotion or the campaign, but you want to
Yes.
follow up with that person and then convert this person, right, to become your customer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
But when you are using Salesforce, there will be no paperwork, right? You will not do any work on the paper. You will not use Excel sheets, right? That the whole application, everything will be done on Salesforce. So you said that on that very day, I will note down everybody's numbers, right? So in Salesforce, there must be an object to store that. Will that be account object?
No. Should
Why
be
not? Why can't I store in account and contact?
account is account will be having the who are already customer. But
Absolutely right. Absolutely bang on. So account and contacts are my customers. This is the tables where I am storing a person who has already shown interest. I'm doing a deal with them, right?
Yes.
That I have converted. I have already got their interest. I have the deal going on with these people, or I have already closed the deal with these people. Those are those whom I will call as my customers. But the people who may or may not be interested in my product, but I'm noting down their names and I'm trying to hit them. These people are called leads. Okay. So what are leads? Leads are everybody. Anybody who is a potential customer. So Salesforce gives another table called leads, lead table, that stores all these potential customers, those who have not become customers. Okay. So in those who come from sales background, they will tell you, you can talk to any salesman. They will tell you then 10% of all leads normally gets converted to customers. Usually, that is the number. Depends on different business line, but almost 10%. So if you are hitting 10 people, 1% will purchase your product. So I am storing still 9 people's name in my system. Any benefit of storing that? 9 people. What a colossal wastage of my time. So why I am storing this 9 people's name? One you already told. Maybe I will try to give a promotional deal. Maybe they will be interested later, right? Maybe they are not interested right now. I keep chasing them for 2 or 3 months. Probably finally they might get interested. So people who are not purchasing right now or not showing interest may show interest at a later date. That might be the reason why I want to store that in Salesforce. Secondly, I have to also tell to my boss what I am working on, right? The whole day I will have to chase 10 people, then only one person will buy the product. So if I only store the customer information, how will I give visibility what I am working on? The whole day I worked on 10 leads, but only one got converted, right? But I am spending time, quality time. I am working. It may or may not be successful, but I have to visibility. I have to show to my company that I have worked on with so many people. I have worked on my leads. Clear? So lead objects is another object, standard object. Lead gets converted to a account and a contact after conversion. Clear? So lead is what kind of object? Is it a company or a person?
It can be anything.
No.
Most
It will always be an individual.
Individual, yeah.
You will always talk to one person, right? That will be always
Yeah.
an individual. So lead, in that lead, you will store his first name, last name, phone number, email IDs, whatever. That all information will be copied to contact fields. Okay. Only the company name will go and copied into account, and that contact will become a child of that account after opportunity is converted. Sorry, lead is converted. Clear, guys? So far, so good? Okay. If these tables are not enough, you can create your own tables also. Those tables are called custom tables, custom objects. So tables are equal to object in Salesforce. One table is one object. The rows of that table are called records in Salesforce. Every column of that table is called field. Okay, clear? From now on, we'll only refer to these three: object, records, and fields. So please, like, remember this very clearly, that when we are talking about object, we are talking about tables. When you are talking about records, we are talking about rows. When we are talking about fields, we are talking about columns, column headers. Yeah. Clear, guys? Okay. So let's see this in action, how that looks like in Salesforce. Okay, I will show you how to open Salesforce from scratch, because there are some people who are new. So please get yourself a LinkedIn ID. If you are not on LinkedIn, please be on LinkedIn. And then you go to this link, trailhead.salesforce.com. Okay. here you can sign up. If you are like, I am logged in already, so you can sign up. Okay, you can sign up using your Google account, LinkedIn account, anything. I would suggest you to use LinkedIn account to sign up. You are facing any trouble, any links, let us know. Next time onwards, you will be logging in. So when you log in, like I'm using my LinkedIn account, you can use Google ID also to log in. Here's the trailer. This is the learning module for Salesforce. Okay, we'll be following 3 trails. Once again, I'm mentioning that admin, beginner. Search with this one. You will see a trail. Please note down that you will be seeing a trail. Admin beginner, admin intermediate. So we'll start with admin beginner first. If you're done with it, then go to admin intermediate, and there would be admin advanced also. Finish these 3 trails. So trails are a group of modules or a course. Okay. So this is your home task. I want you to do it. There's a star mark. If you do this star, make it star. You don't have to search every time you log in. You can also take it from where you left. So you go to favorites. That star will add you to favorites. So this will be stored here. And from next time onwards, you will directly link on that and you can go there. Okay. Apart from that, when you create any org, while doing this trails, you have to create some org. That is a demo free org which Salesforce allows you to create. So that you can create. Once you have created it, all will show up here. Or you can create new orgs also. You can create playground. Hit on this button, it will create a org for you and give that org to you. As I said, when you create an org, you also become the user for that org automatically. Okay. And then you can go to any org and you can launch it. And you are in Salesforce. Okay. This is how it looks like. Here is the app launcher. This is means Salesforce have many applications inside it. Just like in a mobile phone, you have many apps, right? Similarly, in Salesforce, you can also have many apps. Here, we will search with a sales app. And this is the sales app. So these are the different tabs of that Salesforce app, the sales app. Similarly, there can be other apps. We will discuss this later. We are discussing sales cycle here right now. So one of the products of Salesforce is called Sales Cloud. That is basically we are working on. Okay. This product is called Sales Cloud. So you see, we talked about accounts, right? We talked about contacts. We talked about leads. We talked about opportunities. Let's see how a salesman will start his day. So what he will do, he will create a lead. This red star mark, these are mandatory fields which you have to fill up. Okay. Here, first name is not mandatory, last name is mandatory, and company name is mandatory. So I create and save my lead. So this takes me to that new record of my table. How will I see this table? The whole table here. I can see this table. You see, this is the whole table. Out of that, I can only see my leads. So it will show this. This is a table, right? The table has headers. Table has rows. Simple. So this is a table view, similar to an Excel sheet, right? Or any table. So if I click this, I am taken to this detailed screen, and that detailed screen will have all the fields related to that table. So whatever I am storing here in this detail tab is exactly what will show up in my table view also. So if I store this and save it, if I go back, you see, this will also show up. Here I can go, sorry, in this here I can go. Here I can go and select fields to display. Here I can select my phone number. I add it. I can take it forward. Maybe I will take others out, which I'm not using. Save it. Yeah. So there are 16 leads in this in this organization. Okay. So Jimsha is this lead which I created. Okay. My phone number is now showing up here. If I go to Jimsha, click on that, I can go to this and you can see there are different status. Okay. I can change the status by clicking here. Like I'm working on this lead, or I can go and edit this and change status here also. Okay. I can either this lead will get converted, not converted. That means he's not interested, or they can be converted, right? The lead will get converted. I can call a person from here. I will log a call that I called her. Right? It will show up. It will show me the history that what activity is going on. Okay. I can create a new task. I can say that tomorrow I will have a meeting with this guy. Or I will set up another call, follow-up call. Yeah. And status is not started. So I can create on these things. I can create a meeting request also with him, like a meeting with him. I can send him an email from here also itself. Right? All these activities I can do. In the details tab, I can change other field values, all other informations. I can put it as I get his email ID, website details, and so on. And then finally I say, let me convert this. So it is asking me, see, it has taken the company information from here. It is saying that I will make a account with this name from this company information. Then I am saying I will create a contact with Jim Shah's name. And I may or may not create an opportunity. I can say that don't create an opportunity, but maybe I will. I will say I am doing a deal for July. And I say convert. Whenever I do a convert, it is creating a new row in 3 tables: account, contact, and opportunity. Right? I can go to directly account from here. So here also, if you go to account, here also this is a table view. What are the accounts which is there already? These are the accounts already there. Out of that, this is the new account that got created, right? Similarly, account, I only fill the name of the account, right? The other details is not there, but I can fill the account number, account site, account type. All these details are available, right? I can put all details of the company here. In the contact list, I can see Jim Shah there, right? This is another table. Here in the contact is account is the parent, contact is the child. That's why in the account, this is a related list. Here you can see Jim Shah. So if there are any child tables, it will show here in this related list. In details, you will see the fields. In related list, you will see the childs. Account is the parent for both contacts and opportunities. So you see, I have created a child and I have created a opportunity. I can create multiple child. I can say that there is another person involved for this deal. Maybe you see, since I am in the account, this is automatically filled up. I save it, and another contact automatically gets created. I can go to contacts tab also, I can create a new contact from here also. But here I have to search for that account and then create another. If I do that and create a contact from here, also, you see 3 contacts got created. Automatically, it is getting associated when I go to account. Similarly, in opportunity also, you can create your opportunity. I can go to opportunity. I can create an opportunity from account tab itself. I can create opportunity from account opportunity tab also. I will say that torrent August. In account, I will say torrent. Stage is mandatory. Close date I have to give, and I select save. Okay. So if I go to accounts once again, you see now I can see 2 opportunities. So let's close now an opportunity. This is a deal on which I will be working on. I will qualify this deal, mark as stage. I will need analysis on this deal. I will change value proposition deal. I will do ID decision making, right? I will have a proposal and price quote I will send to customer. And then finally, I will close a deal, right? Before that, I will basically select products. Like this product and this product. Now, this window, what is opening up for me, you see, this is a standard price book, which is the default price book of Salesforce. You can choose a different price book also. You can create your own price book. That means your own menu card. By default, Salesforce gives an automatic menu card, but you can create another menu card. You can say USA. So you can select, choose an price from this, right? So I can select 2 different products and I am seeing the price. So which table is this getting information from? This price is coming from which table?
Price book entry.
Price book entry, absolutely. So the header is price book and the individual line items which I am seeing here is basically price book entry. So I'm selecting it. And this is again another table which is I have to fill up, wherein I am filling the quantity. Which table am I filling this information?
Opportunity product.
Absolutely. So this is the another child product, right? Which I'm saving into. So opportunity product, it is called products here, but it is basically saving it in opportunity products table. Opportunity products table is basically getting saved into, and basically opportunity is the parent for opportunity products, right? So it is showing up in the related list. And then finally, I do a close and I can select whether I won that or lost it. If I won it, I save it and my sales is done. So this is how salesman will use Salesforce. Quite clear? I want you guys to play around and we'll dig deep in days to come, understand Salesforce. I hope you enjoyed your first session. So please ask questions if you have any.
I just want to know how to install it or how to do it again.
Yes. So you go to trailhead.salesforce.com, sign up yourself, and then you go to here, go to hands-on org, create playground and launch it.
Hello. One thing that is every time we are using Salesforce, we have to create a background.
No. One playground, when you have created, that's it. Then every time you will just launch it. Create playground will be done only for the first time. If you have already created a playground, that will show up here. If you are like started the trail, right? You have to study this trail, admin beginner, right?
Yes.
So start working on admin beginner. It will also ask you to create a trail playground.
Yes.
If you have already created that, launch that only. You don't create another playground.
Okay.
So in admin beginner, when you are studying this material, see, these are chapters, right? Here, many of the times you will have to do hands-on stuff. Then it will say there is a button to create playground. So that playground will also show up here. And you can launch it. Don't keep on creating playground. Yeah. Unless otherwise told. Sometimes it is told. They will say that please create a new playground. So that if that chapter does not tell you to create a new playground, don't do that. Okay, that's it. But once the playground is there, you just keep on launching it and you are inside Salesforce. You can also do a login and password thing. I will tell you later how to do that. So you don't have to even go to Trailhead at all. You can directly go to login.salesforce.com. You can put a user ID and password and you can log in. That also works. But how will you get that? I will discuss that later. Right now, let's play with the playground. Go ahead, break it down, do whatever you want to do, play around. Yeah, keep on practicing, keep on like playing with it. In the next session, we'll dig deep as days to come. And of course, please start learning admin beginner trail. Whatever you understand, that is fine. Because if you finish that up, come to these sessions, you will understand more. Otherwise, you have to again repeat this session when you are doing the trail. So I don't want that to happen. I want you to be ahead in their trailhead before you come to this session. Then you will be able to connect the dots better. Otherwise, you have to do it repeatedly again and again. Okay, to make best use of these sessions, please do the hands-on org, hands-on as well as the trailhead, and then come to the session. Then we'll discuss everything, and it will be very crystal clear for you. So stay ahead than me. That is the key. Okay, please give time to Salesforce. Otherwise, things will get steeper and steeper and steeper. Okay, so it is very crucial that you spend time with Salesforce. And the trail is very important. Start learning. Any further questions, guys? I will upload this
Ronit,
session.
do you have any question? Ronit, sorry, Animesh, to interrupt.
Yeah.
No, sir. I understood it.
Good.
Okay, and Aritro, I have sent you some material, some information to your WhatsApp. Check it out. If you have any issue, please let me know. Call me anytime. Yeah, Animesh, go ahead.
Yeah, I will upload this recording today into YouTube, and I will create a playlist. You can refer to this recording today anytime, and of course, try to do revision. If you're not understanding, play it once again. That will work for you. Okay.
One question I have.
Yeah.
Actually, I was trying to do some hands-on
Mhm.
in Trailhead. So once when I was just creating Trailhead background, after that I am creating. I have to click on launch. So after that, whenever sometimes it's instructed that I have to create the object and
Yeah.
feels like that. So
Yeah.
whenever I'm trying to create object, every time it is showing that I have to click on Salesforce Classics. Because first time it is opening Salesforce Lightning, and again I have to click on Salesforce Classic. So is it okay?
Why you are clicking on Salesforce? Are you opening it in mobile phone?
No, no, no. I'm
Can you
using,
show that? Can you show that?
yeah, I can show that, but
Yeah. Show me.
yeah, one thing that is. One moment, I will just. Are you able to see my
Yeah, I
screen?
am. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. Okay, just I was just doing some. It's not like that I have understood everything, but I was just doing some hands-on. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So through schema builder, yeah, I was actually I was asking for schema builder because sometimes I'm not able to do the schema builder. So here in the hands-on, it's like that I have the data type and the field level. So I was doing through this steps, right? So create fields with schema builder. So whenever I have to, I didn't find the elements tab. So that the question I will ask to you. So I just do, I just follow these steps, okay, through setups. And if I am trying to do create a new object, just object manager. Yeah, just if I click on create, right?
Yeah.
So this is the custom object. So okay, right now it's showing, but I was doing in the afternoons, but it was not it's showing this I have to click on Salesforce Classic. So every time I was clicking, I don't know what's happened.
No, I should not ask you to go to Classic.
Okay.
Classic is the old theme of Salesforce.
Okay.
Navigations and everything has changed. Now we are on Lightning. So we are not, there are some features which are still on Classic that has not been moved to Lightning, but it is gradually moving to Lightning. But we rarely do switch to Classic nowadays.
Okay. One thing that is in the deployment status, it
Does not
should
matter.
be- okay.
Does not matter.
Okay, and one thing that is, can you please tell me where's the elements tab, because I was finding, I didn't get it.
Cancel this.
Okay, just
No. There's a cancel button here, right?
yeah, I just click on home.
That's fine. Go to Object Manager once again. So here there is a schema builder button, right?
Yeah. Click on. Can I click?
Click it. Yeah, you have the elements tab on the left. You can see
Elements.
on the top. Yeah, just
Okay,
yeah.
okay. I got it. I was finding in the down.
No.
That's why I didn't get that. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, that's fine. Good that you have progressed. You are already working on it. Very nice.
Thank you.
Go ahead. Anybody else? Anything? And feel free. You put a screenshot on your WhatsApp group, right? Shobhan, we have already created a WhatsApp group, right?
Yeah.
So anytime you face any problem, put a screenshot on your problem on the WhatsApp group, and there is a dedicated mentor for you guys. So that person will pick up. Otherwise, Shobhan will pick up, and if both of them face any challenges, I will come in. Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a nice weekend. I hope you enjoyed your first session and the benefits of Salesforce. So, Aurito, stay back. Others can drop off.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much.